Thank you, everyone, and good morning. So, Andy Burnham seems like a nice guy. I've enjoyed his dodgy dancing and even the shocking revelation that he puts the milk first in his tea. I'm glad he's got a sense of humour. It's needed in his job. But when I look at the plans that he's announced for the country, I find myself asking, is that it? Britain is the 5th largest economy in the world. There are wars in Europe and the Middle East, hostile states.
Originals, I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
Are attacking our critical infrastructure. China and America are racing ahead in artificial intelligence, energy and space. We have a demographic challenge to solve, a borders crisis requiring tough choices. And our new Prime Minister's big ideas are £2 bus fares and £45 off energy bills, when the average bill is nearly £2,000, and that will only last for 6 months anyway. Don't get me wrong, cost of living pressures are real. But the problems go way beyond bus fares and VAT on bills. Families are struggling. Young people are worrying about whether they will ever earn enough to buy a home. Some are leaving the country in search of a better future. Businesses are closing. People are working harder but feeling poorer. I'm sorry, but going by what he's announced so far, Andy Burnham's ambitions for Britain are too small.
Andy Burnham dealt massive blow as explosive new poll reveals who the British public truly want in Downing Street. Welcome to Britain Underneath, where we strip back the polished spin of Westminster to uncover the raw reality powering the corridors of power. If you are serious about understanding the real currents shifting Westminster, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notification alerts. By subscribing, you keep this independent analysis alive and ensure you stay ahead of the curve as British politics moves at a breakneck pace. Now, let us dive straight into the storm brewing inside number 10. The newly crowned Prime Minister's Downing Street honeymoon could already be in serious jeopardy after an explosive new poll revealed growing support for opposition leader Kemi Badenoch. The newly crowned Prime Minister took over the keys to number 10 on July 20th after being elected unopposed as Labour leader days before. But despite taking power barely 10 days ago, a bombshell YouGov survey conducted between July 21st and 22nd has delivered a stark warning to the Labour chief. While Andy Burnham has managed to secure a divided public rating in his first official favourability survey as head of government, it is Tory leader Kemi Badenoch who is making dramatic strides in the court of public opinion. The YouGov polling reveals the public is split down the middle on the former mayor of Greater Manchester, with 38% viewing him favourably and 35% viewing him negatively. While his net score of +3 makes him more popular at launch than Keir Starmer at -3, Boris Johnson at -18, or Rishi Sunak at -19, he trails significantly behind former Conservative Prime Minister Theresa May, who stormed into office in 2016 with an enviable +12 net rating. However, the real bombshell in the tracker is Kemi Badenoch's rapid surge. The Tory leader's latest net favourability score has rocketed to -11, her highest rating ever recorded by YouGov, and the highest score for any Conservative leader in over 5 years. A third, 33%, of Britons now view her favourably, compared to a mere 19% this time last year. Crucially, negative perceptions of Kemi Badenoch have plummeted from 54% down to 44%, signalling a massive shift in public momentum toward the Conservatives as voters look closely at number 10's new occupant. While Kemi Badenoch celebrates a massive polling breakthrough, the picture is rather disastrous for Reform UK leader Nigel Farage. Following his decision to step down from his Clacton seat to trigger a by-election amid intense scrutiny over his financial interests, Nigel Farage's popularity has crashed to historic depths. Just 14% of voters view the reform leader favourably, while a punishing 56% view him negatively. His rock-bottom net score of -46 is the joint lowest score recorded in the 10-year history of the YouGov tracker, matching the depths reached by Keir Starmer shortly before his resignation last month. Voters are also weighing in on Andy Burnham's brand new cabinet after a sweeping reshuffle designed to steady the Labour government. The surprise choice for number 11, John Healey, enjoys an encouraging start with a +5 net rating, 22% favourable to 17% unfavourable, though 62% of voters admit they are still reserving judgment. Returning to housing and taking over foreign affairs, heavyweights Angela Rayner and Ed Miliband face steep public scepticism, with over half of the public holding an unfavourable view of both ministers. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood and new Defence Secretary Wes Streeting both rebounded slightly, rising to net ratings of -14 and -27, respectively. Let us examine the exact numbers from YouGov's political favourability tracker for July 21 to 22. Among party leaders, Andy Burnham leads Labour with 38% favourable against 35% unfavourable, yielding a +3 net rating. Kemi Badenoch for the Conservatives stands at 33% favourable and 44% unfavourable, bringing her net rating to -11. Ed Davey of the Liberal Democrats registers 22% favourable against 41% unfavourable, a net of -8. Zach Polanski for the Greens reaches 13% favourable and 35% unfavourable, sitting at -26. Nigel Farage of Reform UK trails with 14% favourable and 56% unfavourable, recording a net score of -46. Looking at other senior politicians in the fresh cabinet, Chancellor John Healey posts 22% favourable and 17% unfavourable, a +5 net score. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood records 21% favourable and 35% unfavourable, sitting at -14. Louise Hay, serving as First Secretary of State and Cabinet Office Minister, secures 7% favourable against 21% unfavourable, giving her a net of -14. Foreign Secretary Ed Miliband scores 23% favourable and 51% unfavourable, landing at -27. Defence Secretary Wes Streeting records 17% favourable and 44% unfavourable, sitting at -27. Finally, Housing Secretary Angela Rayner scores 22% favourable and 51% unfavourable, resulting in a net rating of -28. If you are finding these detailed insights valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Supporting Britain Underneath helps us produce deep dive commentary that bypasses mainstream sensationalism. The central question haunting Westminster right now is whether Andy Burnham can translate his initial soft popularity into a lasting mandate, or if the electorate is already looking past him toward a revitalised Conservative opposition. To understand the gravity of these figures, one must step back and appreciate the context of Andy Burnham's ascent to power. Walking through the door of number 10 following an unhampered Labour leadership transition, Andy Burnham inherits a nation weary of political turbulence. He represents a distinct shift in tone from his predecessor, promising a regional focus and direct engagement with working-class communities across the North and Midlands. Yet a net favourability of +3 offers remarkably little margin for error. A honeymoon period in modern British politics is notoriously brief. In an era dominated by instant digital feedback and intense media scrutiny, public goodwill evaporates within days if tangible results fail to materialise quickly. Andy Burnham's score indicates that while the public is willing to grant him a moment of grace, they remain deeply cautious. 35% of the public already views him unfavourably before his administration has even introduced its first major piece of legislation. This is not a decisive mandate, it is a temporary holding pattern. Contrast this fragile start with the dramatic surge experienced by Kemi Badenoch. For over 5 years, Conservative leaders have struggled against a tide of public fatigue, brand erosion and policy missteps. Yet Kemi Badenoch's rise to a net favourability of -11 marks a noticeable shift in opposition dynamics. A jump to 33% favourability demonstrates that her straightforward, ideologically clear style is beginning to resonate far beyond the traditional Conservative base. More importantly, the 10-point drop in her unfavourable ratings suggests that former critics are taking a fresh look at her leadership as a credible alternative to Labour. In politics, momentum is everything. While Andy Burnham is attempting to steady a complex government machine, Kemi Badenoch is capturing the narrative momentum. If her numbers continue on this upward trajectory, while Labour grapples with administrative friction, the political centre of gravity could shift much faster than the government anticipates. If you appreciate this unvarnished look at Westminster strategy, remember to hit subscribe. Encouraging independent coverage like ours ensures we can keep delivering these deep political breakdowns week after week. Meanwhile, the collapse of Nigel Farage's public standing represents one of the most remarkable turns in recent political polling. Having built a career on positioning himself as the ultimate political outsider, his decision to vacate his parliamentary seat in Clacton has clearly backfired with the electorate. A net rating of -46 places him in the most challenging position of his public career. With 56% of the public holding a negative view, the narrative that Reform UK poses an existential threat to the main parties faces severe pressure. When a political figure's ratings fall to these depths, regaining broad national credibility becomes an extraordinarily difficult task. The composition of Andy Burnham's cabinet adds another layer of complexity to the government's operational landscape. Chancellor John Healey's initial positive rating of +5 provides a brief moment of encouragement for the Treasury. However, with 62% of voters stating they do not yet know enough about him, his standing will be severely tested the moment difficult fiscal decisions are announced. A Chancellor's public standing is almost entirely tied to economic performance, and uncommitted voters can swing quickly if economic conditions tighten. The high negative ratings for key heavyweights like Angela Rayner at -28 and Ed Miliband at -27 present a structural challenge for the Prime Minister. Both figures carry significant political weight and hold key portfolios vital to the government's core promises on housing and energy transition. Yet, with over half the public viewing them unfavourably, every policy announcement they front will face immediate public scepticism. Andy Burnham faces a delicate balancing act, relying on experienced political figures while managing the political cost of their existing public perception. Take a breath, stay informed, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to Britain Underneath. Your subscription directly supports our ability to provide detailed, unbiased analysis of British political developments. As we evaluate these polling dynamics, we must also consider the broader voter psychology shaping the United Kingdom today. The British electorate has grown increasingly impatient with conventional political messaging. Voters are no longer bound by traditional party loyalties. Instead, they shift rapidly based on immediate performance, leadership authenticity, and economic stability. Andy Burnham's initial strategy relies heavily on presenting himself as a practical manager capable of bridging regional divides. However, the polling indicates that managerial competence alone may not be enough to satisfy a public demanding decisive action. Kemi Badenoch's resurgence suggests that voters are looking for opposition leadership that offers a sharp contrast to the government. Her ability to consolidate Conservative support while reducing her negative ratings indicates a potential realignment within the opposition landscape. If she continues to position the Conservative Party as a focused, disciplined force, Andy Burnham's government will face relentless pressure in Parliament and in the press. Every decision made in Number 10 over the coming weeks will carry enormous weight. From economic strategy to public sector management, the Burnham administration must demonstrate clear progress to prevent its modest polling lead from eroding. The battle for public trust is fully underway, and neither side can afford a misstep. Thank you for spending your time with us today on Britain Underneath. Take a breath, stay informed, and make sure to subscribe right now so you never miss an episode as we continue to track the powerful forces defining the UK political landscape. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.